Yo, what's going on, man? And today, I'm finally back. I'm back just in time for Year 9 Season 4. And, of course, we're getting the Blackbeard rework this season, so what better way to crown him into a new season than giving you an attacker tier list to help you rank up for Operation Collision Point. Now, if you do go on to enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Go follow my Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok, all in the description of this video. And just like your dad when he came back, I'm not going to give any explanations to why I left. Now, starting off in the piss tier, and the D tier, if you will. Horrible, never picked, basically. It's going to be Glaz. He's the only operator in there, and the sole reason for this is he's kind of limited. He's a one-trick pony. His only trick is to look through smoke. Apart from that, he has the OTS, which is a really good DMR. I wish they'd put it on another character in the game, other than Glaz, because, I mean, yeah, Glaz is just not good. His weapons are actually good. Don't get me wrong. He's got the OTS, the Bear 9. You're not going to run any other pistol on him. He has access to smokes and frag grenades. Honestly, just pick what you want to run in that round and you're fine. But I feel as if he did get indirectly nerfed with Sense's new rework, where no thermal vision can see through smokes anymore, which does actually make Glaz a bit underpowered because you could run strategies with Sense and Glaz, which was actually pretty good, to be fair. Wasn't the worst, pretty good. And now you can't run that. It just, in terms overall for Sense, good buff means no one can see through smokes anymore, but I mean, it's bad for Glaz. Glaz is just poo-poo tier now. Right, to start off with the C tier, we're going to have Callie. Callie struggles with the same issues as Glaz, having, you know, a single shot sniper or marksman rifle, but what she is better for is the fact that her utility, like her gadget, is actually really strong. So you can bring her on certain sites. It's just that once you've done all the utility clearing, you're kind of limited as to what you can hold and what you can play because of the fact that it's a sniper rifle in your hand. And in a game where it's one shot headshot, sniper rifles aren't really that powerful. What I do like though, recently, they gave her smokes. That's pretty nice. Pretty good for cutting off LOS that you don't want to be open to when you try to hold a long angle, which is pretty nice. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty good. But again, it's no saving grace. Next in the C tier, Capital. I love Capital. I think he's a really powerful operator. However, it's just that you need to be really coordinated to get value out of, because ultimately you need to have teammates that are willing to play off your fire and your smoke bolts. But half the time you're just not going to get that. Weaponry is good all around. It's just it needs a lot of coordination. You're not really going to find that in a lot of stacks or in solo queue. Next, controversial one, Zero, C tier. Zero, gadget, has 6 of them now, which is very nice. Has the best primary in the game, best like primary rifle in the game. However, that gadget, they could give him 10 of them. It's still not that good. It's still just, you can just do droning with your drones and you'll get the exact same value. Not really that powerful in my opinion. What I will say is powerful though, is the fact that he has Gon 6 and hard breaches, which is pretty nice. I feel like he was the striker before striker came out, which is something to say, something to note. I feel as if he's just been over time phased out. I think when he first released with 4 frag grenades, I think that was when, of course, well, I mean, yeah, of course, that was his prime, but I mean, I think they need to like find the middle ground in between frag grenade Zero and current Zero, because who doesn't love Zero meta? Zero in meta is so fun. Next in C tier, Amaru, Supernova, SMG11, one trick pony, good for taking map space, really good for making, actually really powerful for taking map space early in the game. But again, her gadget leaves a lot to offer. Next, C tier, another controversial one, Brava. Brava really just relies on you being able to get your drone into sight and hacking things. And it also heavily relies on what the defenders bring. If they don't bring good utility for you to hack, and if you don't get your drone in sight, you're cooked. Jackal, really powerful. C7E, pretty good. But the problem with Jackal is the fact that he's just, again, with a lot of C tier operators you're going to see, just completely outclassed. Dokkaebi does it better. Deimos does it better. And there's not much you can really do. Like, you're just completely outclassed on the roam clear. Next in C tier, it pains me to put Sledge in C tier. I love Sledge. I love and adore Sledge. C tier, ultimately, I just think they need to give him his SMG11 back and I'll bump up to the B tier because he has more weaponry to work with. Unfortunately though, it's just Ram and Buck being in the game. Buck, if you're trying to get vert from below, that's your go-to guy. Try to get vert from above, it's either Buck or Ram. They're just infinitely better, and with Sledge you're just exposed. And finally, to end off C tier, we're gonna have Nook. Nook, give her Silent Step. Ultimately, she would be B tier or A tier. Actually, I think she should be A tier. If you give Nook the Silent Step ability back, A tier instantly. No question, no doubt in my mind. Now, B tier is going to be full of operators that are powerful. However, they do need their certain scenario to shine the most. Now, to start things off, I'm going to have Sense. Now, Sense has pretty good weaponry. The fully auto assault rifle that I can't remember the name off the top of my head at the moment is alright. It's not bad, but you're going to ultimately, I think you're going to be going with the 417 marksman DMR. That's the one that Twitch and Line have access to, which are extremely powerful. Ultimately, I feel with the new buff that Sense has got, where by the press of a button, they can switch off the wall and switch it on and off. I ultimately feel with Sense that as time progresses, we're going to see more and more Sense strategies, which will 100% help them get better in the meta. But at the beginning of the season, I don't think I'm going to see any Sense at all. But later, maybe even like 3 seasons down the line, I think we can see Sense lineups come into the game, and we can finally see Sense become that insanely powerful operator that Ubisoft wants Sense to be. Because the fact that no one can see through their light gate anymore is insane. So for now, bottom of B tier, lot of potential. Next is Twitch. Twitch, 4 drones. I know Brava has 4 drones, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the Twitch drone's basically silent. But with Twitch, 2 shock drones that have infinite ammo and just recharge over time. So you can just zap anything that you need, like cams, utility, Fenrir mines, Legion mines, everything. Twitch counters a lot more than Brava, and that ultimately just makes Twitch of a more valuable operator. Of course, good weaponry, F2, 417, we all know this. Next in B tier, Osa. Osa is only really good when there's like a breach, I feel, or a plant that needs to be put down that's risky to do so you need to be out C4s and whatnot. Ultimately, I feel as if Osa's powerful, but it just really depends on what site it is. Because as soon as it's like a cafe, like middle floor site, like reading library, that type of site, then Osa doesn't really have much use as when they would when it's like a consulate downstairs site. Next in B tier, Ayana. Ultimately, I used to think Ayana was complete stinky dog water after the nerfs that they gave her, but I actually have changed my mind on her recently. Now that she has access to the Gong 6 and EMPs, I feel as if she's a really good support operator because you can burn utility with your clones by running them into sight and bait out C4s, bait out Renegates, bait out defenders to give away their position, and you get no negative because it just is an infinitely recharging ability. I think that's really strong. Also, as well, the ARX is an amazing primary, don't get that ever twisted, so do be using that over the G3 in my opinion, but really solid operator, but you do tend to find that other operators just do her job better. That doesn't mean that she's bad. Next, Lion. Lion is a weird operator to say the least. It isn't a strict roam clear like you would with other operators like Deimos and Dokkaebi. I feel as if with Lion, if you're going to bring him to roam clear, you need to bring another operator with him, or you need to have a coordinate stack, so whenever you drone out a roamer, you activate the ability button to extend the information of what you've just droned. However, that aside, strong primary in the 417 DMR, good secondary options with the frag grenades and the stun grenades, doubles as well, P9, solid French pistol, can't go wrong with it. Next up, B tier, IQ. IQ, similar to Brava, you need to rely on the defenders bringing electronic gadgets, but when they do bring electronic gadgets and you're on IQ, you can find so much value. The fact that you can track, pulse and visual through walls, which visual is an extremely prevalent operator in the meta right now with the Boss G being so overpowered on the defense, makes IQ really powerful and really present when attempting to roam clear. That side though, good strong primary weapons in the AUG A2 and the 552 Commando. Good secondary gadget as well in the frag grenade. So yeah, just a pretty solid operator. There's no really complaints about her. The next one is going to hurt my heart a little bit. It's Fuse. Last patch, I would have had Fuse in A tier, but with the recent nerf to ballistic shields, it does bring them down a tier. But apart from that, good utility clear in certain scenarios, especially when going from above. AK-12, always a benefit. Hard breach can openers, always pretty good. PMM, probably the strongest pistol in the game, I would say. There's no really complaints with Fuse. I just feel with the ballistic shield nerf, it just bring him down a tier. And that's the same with every shield operator at the current time, apart from one, which we'll get onto later. Next as well, Finka obviously suffers from the shield nerf as well, because Finka would enable these shields to get extremely aggressive with the extra boost on ADS time. Finka, 2 solid primary options. You're never going to run the sausage. Don't get real, bro. If I see a Finka running about with a sausage, I just want to slap my sausage across their face. She has access to the Spear, 308, and the Russian LMG. Both really solid. It's, again, pick your poison. What do you want? Do you want bigger mag or a cool suppressed gun? Good secondary utility as well, and flashes and frag, always nice. No really complaints about her. She's just kind of fallen off with the meta. Times have changed. Next, Blitz, similar to Fuse. Shield nerf does make him a bit more poo-poo, but he does have added protection with the flash. So if any defender gets close to his shield, what you can do is just flash them instead of trying to commit to a melee, which ultimately I feel as if a defender in your face, you're going to struggle a lot more as a shield operator. So having that extra ability and being able to flash them, or in Monty's case extend, or Blackbeard's case having a fully auto primary, so if they try to get close to you, you can just fucking take their head off. You have that extra option. Fuse doesn't have that extra option. Next in B tier, another controversial one, Ashe. Ashe, R4C nerf, I feel as if hit her hard. Due to the fact that you have less ammunition, it also means that you can destroy less utility and less defenders and less barricades. And with Ashe, I see a lot of Ashe players pre-firing, and that is good. You should be pre-firing in this game. This game is all about crosshair placement and pre-firing, I feel. Having less ammo on Ashe does kind of bump her down a tier, because it makes her R4C just a little more awkward to play with. Apart from that though, good gadget. Secondary gadgets, pretty good. You know, you can't go wrong with a breach charge and a claymore. But speaking of secondary gadgets, Striker is next up in B tier. Striker has access to the M4 and the Capital's LMG. Both pretty good options, I feel. I think it just depends on what you're feeling on the day. Because sometimes I'm feeling an M4 and I'm cooking with the M4. Sometimes I'm just feeling the LMG and I cook with the LMG. Secondary weapons though, you have that pocket shotty and the Spanish shotgun, the Aita. And then of course, Striker's gimmick. Any secondary gadget in the game. You can literally bring Striker at every single site in the game and I think you'll be fine. However, the only issue with Striker is the fact that whenever you can bring him on every site in the game, doesn't mean that he's the best on every site in the game. It means that he's the most flexible. If Attacker Repick wasn't in the game, I think Striker could probably be S tier. Next, we have Maverick, and it's the first hard breach in the video, and also the top of B tier. Maverick is just an insanely powerful operator, but it takes time and practice to get good with Maverick, and it ultimately leaves you extremely open. So if you're not good at Maverick, you can get heavily punished for playing Maverick. Apart from that, M4, solid, and for secondary gadgets, flashbangs, good. But what we do have to keep in mind as well is the flash grenade nerf that's happening next season, where we're having one less flashbang. But at the end of the day, does that really matter when it happens to across the board? Not necessarily. Now next up, we have the A tier. Now the A tier is going to be full of operators who, well and truly, are just the best. You can bring them to any site and you're going to see value no matter the situation or the site. Now to start off in the A tier, we're going to have Thermite. Now, Thermite has a solid primary rifle in the 5X or whatever it is. His secondary gadgets are where he shines, apart from his main gadget of course, where he has access to flashbangs and smoke grenades. So whatever you're feeling and whatever you need, you can bring. With Thermite's gadget though, however, it does heavily rely on being able to get covered when you're trying to place it on the wall. And the reason why I feel he is A tier is whenever they try to bandit or cade trick a wall, you're better off going with a Thermite than an ace to try to open said wall. Next up in the A tier, another unexpected one I feel for a lot of players is going to be Grim. Grim has access to the 5.52 and the Bailiff for weapons. If you bring anything else, you're trolling. Don't play Grim. His gadget being able to have a bounce now and it gives constant live pings is extremely underrated, because before, when Grim wasn't that powerful, you'd have to expose yourself to get down what you would get from just droning. However, now with the Grimbees being able to bounce once, you can kind of use it as a pseudo firebolt from Capital, in the sense that if you swing this into the Grimbees, I'm going to have constant information on you and I'm going to wallbang you for 5 different walls and you're not going to have a good time. But ultimately, for Grim, what makes him extremely powerful though, is the fact that he has access to EMPs and hard breaches. So you can really just bring him on whatever site you need. You can bring him on every single site and just bring whatever gadget you need and you'll be fine. Next up in A tier, Hibana. Solid weapons in the Type 89 and the Bearing 9. However, they're difficult. So with Hibana, you got to learn those weapons and you'll see extremely good value. But her gadget is where she shines the most. Definitely one of the most flexible gadgets in the game. Being able to shoot 6, 4 or 2 pellets from the X-Kairos launcher, so you can open hatches with 4 and open crouch holes with 6 by placing 4 at the bottom, 2 at the top or something along those lines, ultimately allows her to be one of the most flexible operators in this game. And with flashbangs as well, you can sort of play her after using your gadget to open what you need to do. You can play her in the entry role and just frag out with the Bearing 9 and the Type 89, because that is a deadly strong combo. Top of that as well, free speed, so, you know, swung or be swung pussy. Next in the A tier, Nomad. Nomad, no bad. Just shoot it and forget it. You know, you shoot down the air jab at the top of the door, prevent roamers from flanking you, and your job's done. The ARX is really good, really powerful assault rifle. High damage, high fire rate, low magazine, but if you can get around that, pretty solid. Has Cav's pistol as well on attack, which is always nice, and ultimately has flashbangs as well. So you have 5 burns, I can't count. 5 pieces of utility to burn Jaeger and Womais. Next in A tier, unexpected one, Zofia. Now, Zofia recently got access to the hard breach can openers, meaning she can open 2 hatches, have 2 Ash charges to break bulletproof utility, and 2 stun grenades to clear out defenders from high value spots. The only downside to Zofia is the fact that she's a free armor. She's slow and clunky as fuck. But if you can get around that fact, she is insane. Her M762, don't get it twisted. If anyone's trying to tell you that that primary is poo-poo now and it's bad because the recoil got nerfed on it, slap them in their face. They're living under a rock. The recoil was so easy to control. I am horrible at this game at the moment because I've been gone for so long. I cannot control anyone's recoil, but Zophia's recoil, I could do it with my eyes closed right now. Next, in A tier is Ram. I stated previously that Sledge's main weakness is the fact that he is exposed when doing vert. Ram is not. Ram can vert from pretty far away. Just throw it down, press the ability button, and there goes your ceiling. R4C as well. Powerful primary. However, of course, does suffer from the same nerf as Ashe, where it's 26 bullets instead of 31. But if you're willing to get around that, and the fact that she's a free armor, she is probably the best. No, fuck that. She is the best for vertical play in this game. Next in the A tier, Monte. Montaigne did get nerfed with the new shield nerf, where when you bash, you do actually do no damage. Also, as well, when you're fully extended and someone can repeatedly melees your shield, you're going to get to a point where your shield is completely off your body and they can shoot you, which does nerf Montaigne. However, Monte is Monte. He's still going to be good at his core gameplay loop that isn't cheese, where you go, you run and take space, you melee them onto the ground and you shoot them in the head. And if you take too much aggression or you're getting C4'd, impact grenaded and whatnot, you fully extend and you're just a wall. Next in the A tier is Gridlock. Gridlock has 4 track stingers to watch the flank. You literally chuck it down and you forget about it. That's the flank down with. As well as this, having access to the F90, solid primary weapon, and the super shorty for a secondary, does make her pretty flexible. The only downside is the fact that if she was to try get flexible in real life, do gymnastics and shit, I think she would die of a heart attack, because she is free armor and you're just fat as fuck. You're going to be heard from across the map. Next in A tier, Flores. Flores, 4 drones. You can safely destroy bulletproof utility from range. Then after doing that, you can go Shaiko mode and, you know, pick up the AR-33 and go frag out. Topless as well, having the Gush for a secondary weapon as well. Pretty solid, and having stun grenades as well to assist you on getting those kills. It's pretty nice. Now next up in A tier, we have Buck. Buck has the skeleton key and the C8. I don't need to say much more, but I'll expand. The skeleton key is insane for doing vert from below, and the C8 is one of the most powerful assault rifles in the game, with a high fire rate, an easy to control recoil pattern, and having access to any optic in the game. You can use the skeleton key to go from below, to go from above, or to just stick it in the defender's face to kill them with. 2 armor, 2 speed. Not much you can go wrong about Buck. I feel as if whenever you bring a Buck, it's always a good day. Next in the A tier, I think my favourite attacker in the game, Deimos. Where did I begin with Deimos? He has the AK-74M. With this AK, big magazine, alright fire rate, low recoil, pretty solid all around, I would say. But this is what makes Deimos shine. Once you drone out a defender, what you want to do is just activate your ability on that defender after you red ping them or yellow ping their gadget, and then you have infinite wall hacks on them and a pistol that 2-shot body shots. Insane. I can't believe that he's a real operator. Topless as well, with the pistol being able to open up hatches as well, it does make him very versatile when attacking. And having frag grenades in combination with his kit as well is perfect, because if there's a defender in a hard to clear spot and you have pings on them, you chuck the nade in, you wait for them to run out, and you rip their head off with the pistol. Or, alternatively, you can use the frags to clear bulletproof utility to get you to that frag, to get you to that kill. Very powerful operator. I think if you are trying to improve at this game in next season, do play Deimos. Next up in A tier, Thatcher. Thatcher has access to the L8 and the AR-33. You're going to go with the L8 because it's 47, high fire rate, low recoil. The pistol isn't much to talk about, and secondary gadgets aren't much to talk about either, with having the breach charges and the claymores. But what makes Thatcher powerful is the fact that he counters over half of the defenders in Rainbow Six Siege. Having the ability to switch off every electronic gadget for like 15 seconds or 7 seconds or whatnot is extremely notable. And on top of this as well, how easy it is to land on defender gadgets is no place to overlook. When you think of support operators in Rainbow Six Siege, you think of Thatcher, and that's why he's in the top 5 operators in the game at the moment, because he's just this powerful. Next up, the second in A tier is Ace. What is there to talk about? He has the AK-12, one of the most powerful assault rifles in the game. Ultimately, I think it's the most comfortable for majority of players in the game. He has Selma breaches, which are just free ranged small thermite breaches, which is insane. Ultimately, I feel as if you could just only play Ace on attack and get champ, and having access to the P9 as a secondary, which is a pretty solid secondary weapon, and for secondary gadgets, having breach charges to do the vert and claymores to watch the flank, just overall makes him just a really good choice. He's not overpowered in a sense, he's just really solid. The top A tier, who recently got a nerf this patch, is actually going to be Ying. Ying has 4 Candelas and an LMG. So the whole gameplay loops consist of you flashing a defender and then swinging pre-firing. However, what does make her a little bit stinky as compared to last patch is you can't do the instant flashbangs that you could do with Ying, where you put it to the second bar on her charge and then you throw it. As soon as it hits the ground, it explodes and just nuts all over the defenders. You can't do that anymore. You have to roll it for 2 seconds minimum and then it'll explode, which I feel that is nice. It does give you a window of opportunity to shoot the Ying Candela, and it does reward defenders who play into the gameplay with Ying, where you need to go shoot the Candela. But this is rank we're talking about. No one's going to do that. Ubisoft are just, they're dreaming. No ranked teammate is going to sit there, look at a Ying Candela and shoot it. No, they're just going to run away like pussies. But when you're watching this channel and you're locked in and you're subscribed, you're going to know to shoot that Ying Candela now. And for secondary gadgets as well, smoke grenades and hard breach can openers. Just, you know, bring what you're feeling on the day. Can openers or smokes. If you're going for a plant, probably smokes. If you're going to support opening the breach or opening utility, bring hard breaches, of course. Now, start off the S tier, the best operators in the game, the ones that need the nerfs the most. We're going to have Dokkaebi to start us off. Primary weapons, MK14 EBR or the Boss G. MK EBR is probably the go-to for me personally. I feel as if the Boss G just doesn't work as the same it does on defense, on attack. And for secondary weapons, don't go for the Gun 6. The Gun 6 is there, but you wouldn't go for it ever. SMG 12 is the way to go in my opinion, but the C75 is also pretty powerful. For secondary gadgets, smoke grenades, stun grenades, or EMPs, insane secondary gadget utility. I don't know why she still has access to EMPs, stun grenades, and smokes. She needs removed, like, she needs 2 of these removed from her. One of, like, she either needs to have only stuns, claymores, and breach charges, or smokes, claymores, and breach charges, or EMPs. You get the gist. But for her ability, it just makes her extremely powerful. The fact that they tried to nerf her by putting her on a cooldown and you don't spawn in with just 2 logic bombs does actually make her better in ranked. Now, peak game, lock in. Get what I'm trying to say? Because I understand it. I understand the game, right? When you would load into a round previously as an attacker and you had a random Dokkaebi on your team and you were 5-stacking, you were solo queuing, dual queuing, triple queuing, quad queuing, just whenever, and you had a random teammate play Dokkaebi and they called 2 seconds into the round and you got no value off of the call. That no longer happens, because by the time you enter the building as the entry, or just as any operator, as soon as you get into the building and you can get value out of the logic bomb, that's when Dokkaebi has access to the logic bomb, and that is when she calls. However, what does make her stinky now, as to previous patches, is that if you need the Dokkaebi call immediately, and some scenarios which you did need it immediately, you no longer have it. But, I mean, who cares? Like, ultimately, I thankfully make this as a quality of life change more than a nerf. But in the higher play, if you're going to be 5-stacking, that is a nerf, 100%. Now, for the top of S tier, the best operator in the game right now, in my opinion, it's going to be Blackbeard. Blackbeard now is a free armor 1 speed and has access to the MK17 or the SR25. In my opinion, you want to run the MK17 with iron sights, laser sight, and a suppressor or whatever barrel you want. This is because it gives them the best ADS time. For secondary weapons, Blackbeard doesn't really have one anymore. They removed the deagle from him. Your secondary weapon is technically your primary weapon. And for secondary gadgets, you're going to have claymores or frags. Ultimately, you're going to go for frags every time here, because you can throw them from behind your shield and you're going to get more value clearing bulletproof utility with frags than you are going to be covering your flank with claymores. But the reason why Blackbeard is so overpowered this season is his fragging potential. No one can compete with him. The issue with shields last season was the fact that they had to play around pistols, and if you can play around pistols, you were kind of cooked. But now, you don't have this limitation. You literally just ADS and shoot an insanely powerful primary. So for next season, you best believe I'm running Clash every single round, because I am not about to get dominated by Blackbeard. But with that being said, that will be the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy and learn something about this season. If you did, please like and subscribe, and go follow my Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok, all in the description of this video. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching this video. I know I've been gone for a long time, but I'm back every single week. 1 upload at minimum, hopefully 2. No promises though. I love you all. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.